pounds in shillings. 120, yeah, £115 shipping calculated.
Oh, how?
Hello.
So understanding. Firstly, I do apologize about my tardiness. Unfortunately, family event. So, now that everyone's here and gathered, let's hit the ground running after a small recap. Who would like to do the honors?
It's not a basement, it's an abandoned warehouse.
Yes, all of that. Concise and to the point. We like that. We like concision. For those in the back who didn't hear it the first 100,000 times that I was screaming into the void, this, without a shadow of a doubt, is Vivid Collusion. Season 1 finale, epilogue, and potentially the last moment we have the opportunity of seeing these particular kindred. With any luck, with fate, serendipity, and kismet on their side, this very well may not be their grand finale, but that is up for the fates to decide whose thread is cut and who's weaved into a new tapestry. Tonight's episode is entitled The Weight of Neon Dust. Rick's warehouse creaks beneath the weight of truth and rot. There are ledgers, arcane technology from generations far, far removed from now. There are torn garments and several crates. There are photographs scrawled with strange markings of graffiti and urban rot. It is a place that has been forgotten and left to the annals of disappearing memory. Inside the warehouse, we have our coterie. 6 kindred who are disparate in how they got here. They're fractured by the steps of their lives and unlives that have led them to this moment, alone, together, in the dark. And once more, for just our easy recollection of what that actually means for each of them individually, Hollywood, Florida, unlike every other municipality, unlike every other aspect of urban sprawl, unlike every other organized civilization, is divisible from them all, because unlike all of those others, Hollywood was planned, designed, and created nearly whole cloth, much like Athena, before there were ever any living entities in the area. All of the same zoning that is now de rigueur and falling out of everyday usage, the lower financial echelons, the upper financial echelons, the industrial zones, the commercial centers, the revitalizations of the city, the bridges, the roadways, the condos, and various other facets of modern society were planned before they even existed. There's always been a hand on the wheel leading Hollywood forward until that party, or at least that is the common understanding. Until that party, until that business model entered into the scene, until the evacuation of the larger anarch body politic to points due south, every facet of Hollywood was planned in detail. So with the sounds and scents and presences out there in the dark, what is it that the gathered assemblage are actually going to do? Will they explore the dark and find what those presences are? Will they huddle together? Will they remain in place, shuddering and shivering emotionally in each other's presences? Or will they find a different road? Will they find a middle path between all and none as to what happens next? Starting in anti-alphabetical order, let's begin with where you are as far as you are aware in the warehouse, and what is it that you would like to do or suggest that you all, together individually or separately, do. And for the record, the order is as follows: Samaya, Ryan, Rick, Lacey, Elias. Good?
Good.
Excellent.
Samaya is going to activate her shadow cloak and pull back into the shadows, drawing her dagger. And I feel like we should be spreading out, everyone. Don't make ourselves easy targets.
Let's paint the picture as to what Samaya is actually doing. As she's making these suggestions, she fades from awareness. It's already dark. Those without heightened senses are already at a disadvantage. They can't feel her. They can barely make her out. And before their very eyes, the darkness itself swallows her second by second, causing her to disappear.
Ryan's gonna reach out and grab Elias's arm. You can't leave me. I didn't bring anything. We just act like we belong here, like we know what we're doing. And there should be no problems. None at all. Where did Rick go? We should follow him. If we can find our way out of this maze.
Doing what normally persons who understand that there are things, but unknown things out there in the dark, reaches for a shield, a sword, all in one. Elias, the former police officer, her dress-up doll, her fellow Rose. She reaches for him. Her success in grabbing him is entirely, well, up for grabs. Sound somewhat of a plan? Act like you belong, and others will believe you do. Rick?
I'm still up in near the camera monitors. I'm gonna activate Unseen Passage to just try and eliminate that straight away, just in case someone walks up to where I'm at. And once I do that, I'm keeping an eye on the monitors to see if I can get a glimpse of how many there are and if they're if they're mortal or not. Because if they're not using lights and stuff to see their way through, we could be in for a bit of problems.
Okay. So you're going to be the man in the chair, the invisible man in the chair. If anyone happened to already be inside the warehouse, if an agent provocateur already made its way past your security and was already on premises inside the building, if they found their way to you, they wouldn't be able to see you. You'd be mentally not there, physically not present, in a ghostly specter and presence.
That's correct. If I remember correctly, there were at least two inside, because I remember hearing whispers of at least someone talking to one other person. I just want to know if they. I don't know if they're talking into an earpiece or not. I just want to make sure that if it's one person, where they are. If it's more than one, how many there are. And ready to text Elias how many there are, and to watch his back in case I can't keep an eye on everything.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
I will do my rouse check now to see if I get hungrier for the unseen passage.
Okay. And Lacey.
I do in fact get hungrier. I'm at hunger 3.
There is a little small bit of concern from her at this point, but at the same time, she knows it'll be okay. So there isn't. She likes the idea of splitting up, just because it feels kind of like a fun game, hide and seek. And after the others kind of spread out, she'll walk away from where she was, heading back towards where she knows the cars are, but meandering, kind of walking around machinery and behind things, so that you only get glimpses. If you were coming the front way, you would probably not be able to pinpoint too much, but it's more just meandering towards where the light is in the space.
And Elias.
Elias doesn't mind the idea of splitting up, but despite everything, is going to accept Ryan grabbing his arm, and two are gonna move and try to find some cover. I'm gonna make sure my heightened senses are on so that I have the best possible idea of what's coming, and I'm gonna try to be in the best position that I can to be able to cover Lacey and Samaya as well. And I'm just going to keep my hand on my weapon undrawn for now, but just waiting and observing.
Okay. All right. So we have a loose plan of action, which is always better than having no plan of action. We're going to need to see what fate decides for us all in this particular situation. Readying a blade, seeking the protection of their near-at-hand bodyguard, scouting ahead, and moving towards the vehicle. So in order, we need Elias with your heightened senses and Samaya speaking into this space. You receive a +1. Would you be so kind as to roll your wits plus awareness plus your auspics +1. I will give you your penalties later, but that's your total dice pool. Whatever you would like to augment that with or risk is entirely up to you, as high as possible. Lacey, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your intelligence plus survival to see how well you remember the space that you are in? Yes, you're moving towards the light, but are those the emergency lights leading to another portion of the warehouse, or moving roughly back through the maze of gathered crates, cast aside machinery, bits of this and that are spread across the space back to whence you came? Unfortunately, Lacey does not have heightened senses, so she is at a penalty of -1. Rick, would you be so kind as you're doing several things at once, requiring a small bit of focus because you're anxiously trying to garner, engage the forces coming against you to see if you can visibly detect and discern whether they are kindred from videographic information, and trying to maintain a semblance of operational information by being able to call, text, or otherwise alert Elias. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus technology? -1.
Wits plus
Ryan?
-1.
Ryan, as you are assisting, being detrimental, you are the hostage in this particular situation. You're just sticking next to Elias. You're using him as your shield and your sword and your man at arms, as he would. And Samaya, as you are preparing to separate and making that suggestion, thank you that you're looking out for yourself. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus either etiquette or streetwise? You are not at any penalties because you have dark sight because of your kiss of oblivion, right? You do have that aspect of being able to see in the dark, correct?
If that comes with the first level, yes.
You need to select your first level ability.
Oh, thank God that worked.
My first level ability in Oblivion is Shadow Cloak, which is what I'm currently using. I
You
do
didn't
have
get-
Sense the Unseen on.
Not quite there, so you will not receive a penalty, but they will receive a bonus. So, go ahead and give that a roll.
That feels weird. That I should not be rolling 4 dice. What's going on there? Oh, wits plus tech. Yeah, no, okay, that does make sense. I am rolling 4. Sorry.
And Ryan, just to make sure that we are accurate in this, Ryan does have her heightened senses open, correct?
Ryan does not have heightened senses.
She doesn't. I thought that she had it. Oh my goodness. She is deaf, dumb, blind, and alone in the dark with a very strange man.
What
do you
does
think
she
has,
need heightened
Elias?
senses for? She's got me.
Yeah, that's not going to be so great. And here's the reason why. Because Elias is peering into the mouth of madness. There's nothing worse than being alone with the sound of a human body in your ear. There's nothing worse than hearing the blood rushing in your veins. There's nothing worse than having only the sensory input of the physical form, all of the sliding, stretching, bending, throbbing affectations of the human body, magnified by the fact that you're staring as hard as you can, opening your senses, feeling the very imperceptible scratch and itch of all of the clothing that you're wearing. Because, well, heightened senses isn't just sight, it isn't just sound, it isn't just scent. It includes touch and taste, visual acuity, the various frequencies of audio, the various sense, and the realization that unlike most with heightened senses, you can feel the particles hitting the inside of your nose, being absorbed by the body, so you can discern what scents are. You are very much aware that every time you inhale, you're taking particles from the air around you. You can feel them striking inside of you, becoming one with you. And then we're not going to be talking about, the fall breathing that those who have blushed causes. Have you ever been annoyed watching someone else eat in your presence.
Yes.
This is what you are experiencing as Ryan holds on for dear life. Because you can feel her. And she's grinding these ultra fine, several hundred thread count shirt that she purchased for you into your skin. And you can feel each of those fibers as it abrades beneath her grip. As you peer into this seemingly unending darkness that you can tell the gradations of light, the filtration of the residual light from other places throughout the warehouse. It is still dark, it is still miasmic and cloying, yet you could tell the difference of, okay, that's a midnight black, that's a deep charcoal, oh, that one's has a nice little blue tint to it. I think that's probably more of a slate. And all of this information is bombarding you by the second. It is literally sitting across from the most annoying person to watch eat and getting full IMAX surround sound. And you don't notice it at first, but because of the sheer surfeit of information bombarding you, your own inner monster, your own inner beast has fallen to more of the white noise until it's too fucking late. Because you realize what you are in this situation. Your entire life bent towards law and order. Your entire reason for your death being your adherence to law and order. As much as you don't want to admit it, there is an order to these sort of things where you are presently. You are not here as a partner. You're not here as a contributing factor. You're not here as a leader. You're not even here as a representative of the law. You are a fucking bullet shield. You are a disposable oral dam for damage, for pain. You are a servant. And much like you would an unruly pocket pooch, she is guiding you forward into the dark. Not quite rubbing your nose into the accident that may be in the offing, but very much guiding you by the scruff of your neck ahead of her. Would you be so kind as to, at the urging of that dark passenger inside your mind, crawling around your heart, who you've managed to ignore until now. There is a shape and a shadow moving about 60 feet from where you are. It is speaking into something electronic. You know that it has seen you, heard you, and identified where you are. You have one action. What do you do?
I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna draw my gun. I'm gonna tell him to drop it.
Are you sure?
No.
The reason why I asked, remember, you are sitting directly in front of the most annoying person that you've ever had the opportunity of spending time with. Someone who's made your life a living absolute hell, and they are smacking and sucking the inside of their teeth as they devour a blue, rare chicken breast covered in a dual Alfredo red sauce. It is stringy and cheesy and is getting stuck in their teeth as they regale you with full throat and full voice, causing various bits to splatter and fall across the table. You watch as in front of your meal and the edge of your plate is covered with the detritus of them speaking and sending this projectile half-chewed mass towards you. Droplets of it landing on the plate and on the tablecloth and on the tip of your knife, just as you're about to cut into your perfectly seared and beautifully served steak to your perfect temperature. This is a several $100 steak that you've managed to get because you were exemplary, and they are. So, it's all you have to understand is that if you're on a train that's moving at light speed, and you move along the layer of the you're moving light speed. So that's the reason why the whole maneuver is stupid. Which is faster than. Are you sure you're going to fire at the waiter down the hall from you, or what are you gonna do?
On second thought, I think I am just gonna I'm just gonna nudge Ryan, and we're gonna run. We're gonna try to get back to Rick, and hope the others are wise enough to do the same thing. We're gonna get as far away from this as we can.
Okay. Lacey, you've heard that there are spaces in the world, much like Doctor Who's TARDIS, that are larger inside than they are out. Places like house, that the rooms change and shift, like Hogwarts, where the staircases move, where the paintings are alive. You have heard and read and been exposed to that media, and that understanding is there at the base of your mind, and some random thought that just flitters through as it does. You've never been inside such a place before, but you could swear that this is where you all came in, yet as you find your way to the back corner of the warehouse, which is close to where you guys came in, but you overshot and yet missed because the emergency lights are leading you towards a dead end. You only realize that as you are, in fact, at that dead end. And then you hear feet. Then you hear voices. It takes you a second to realize that those voices aren't the earwig of a song that you were listening to several days ago. But you realize that those voices and those footfalls are closing on you with all due speed. Speaking of all due speed, Rick, you know that counting yourself, there's supposed to be only 5 friends inside your space. This is the reason why your dad. This is the reason why your dad told you never invite anybody home. Never bring anybody to your home. If you're gonna go hang out with them, hang out at their space. Hang out in a public space, because your home is your castle, and not everyone's gonna be a servant. It didn't make sense at the time. You were fucking 3, but the old man kind of had a point. Because the moment you open your door to others, this is what you're greeted with. This shit. This is your safety. This is your safe space. This is your castle. And yet, the very first time you allow anyone inside, shit not only hits the fan, it covers the fan, the wall, the floor, the ceiling, forming stalactites of fecundity that falls over you.
How many is in here?
8.
There's 8.
All total, there are 13 blips that have popped up in your security array. There are 8 additional bodies floating just across, just underneath, just outside of your cameras, inside your fucking warehouse. and they're moving like they have a fucking map, because none of them are looking at phones. There's no glow of screens or flashlights. They are moving like they own the place, and that's the part that is most galling. Until now, you've never had issues with fucking security. You invite someone home, and this is the thanks you get. What do?
Could I discern if they're kindred or mortal?
Absolutely not.
Shit.
If they were, sans, balaclavas, and face masks, and stayed still in front of the cameras, maybe you'd be able to tell if they were Nosferatu or cousins of Nosferatu. And maybe you heard that, that whole thing about the Samdi looking like corpses. Maybe they might be Samdi, but none of them are staying. And none of them flitted across the camera with any discernible definition as to living or unliving.
Shit. Of course, this is what happens when I have people in my fucking space. Right, I need a way out. The only thing I'm going to be grabbing is the photo, and that's going in my that's going somewhere. It's on my person because I'm no way in hell am I leaving that behind to endanger them in case this is more kindred. Second thing is, since I'm still hopefully in unseen, I'm gonna start making my way out of the office area. I'm aware my computer is there with a lot of probably quite bad data, but I cannot logically risk securing that while maintaining my own life because it will make too much noise. So I'm going to grab the picture, and I'm going to start making my way out slowly and carefully to try and make it outside, because while the computer is still running, I still have access to the cameras on my phone. I'm also going to shoot Elias a text while I'm walking out, simply saying, 8 guys, move quick, get outside, and then I'm putting my phone completely on silent, not even vibration. I do not want any noise to give my position away, even the low buzz of a vibration alert.
The beauty of hindsight, that is definitive. There's no misconstruing what happened. We all have our different perceptions on it. We take a different vantage point on what happened. Several people can see the same thing happening, and later will recount different stories based on their own particular biases. Certain things that only pop up in hindsight when you have the opportunity to really look at that thing. So,
I don't know what their current plan is because I'm not with the group, so I'm just going by what information I have.
Yes, and that is when the ship begins to sink, all hands towards evacuation. That's standard operating procedure for you. Standard operation procedure for those who've been in similar situations. Get to the lifeboats, get away as far away from the ship as you possibly can. Because once it breaks the surface, it'll drag in those who are nearest to it. But the hindsight is as you pause on your way out of your office, and you begin absently typing your message. The glow of your phone shouldn't cause you to see your thumbs. The glow of your phone, when you are absent of view, is not something you consciously remember ever seeing. There are several factors at play that click in instantaneously in the hindsight of them. You step sideways from being recognizably present. You can't see yourself nor anything else in your hands on your person. As you look towards your computer and fire off the text, watching as you put your phone away in a safe location on your body after removing the sound volume from it completely and totally. So you take steps to make sure that you are untraceable as possible to exit your warehouse. You should change your shoes because there's mud on them, which is something else that you recognize subconsciously as you leave your office. Footprints are traceable. They can cause others to notice you. But the fact that you can see your boot doesn't click into place immediately. It's as you're making your way north through the warehouse towards your postern, the stairway up to the roof so that you can climb down the side of the building using the emergency exit that's there that no one should know about because you blocked off the actual room that leads to that ladder up to the roof. You'll have to move the things you put in the way, but that you've managed to do quietly before, so it's not that big of a consideration. So you realize your muddy boot would leave just enough trace information to potentially break someone being able to see you. After all, you are invisible, and when you are invisible, no one can see you until you do overt things. Yet, you see the mud on your boot. You see your pants. No one ever notices their nose, even though your mind sees it all the time. It just blanks it out.
I don't have a nose.
Correct. No one sees their nose, even though everyone sees their nose. If the absence of a nose is not anything new, but the fact that you notice it, you know that your nose isn't there. You know consciously and intellectually that your nose has never been there. Yet, not having your mind work to see past it, which it still does, even with it missing, is something that dawns on you as you get closer to your emergency exit. And the beauty of the way that Nosferatu mind tricks work towards invisibility is that doesn't actually turn you invisible. It makes it so that you can't be seen consciously. People move out of your way. People look to the left when you're standing to their right. It is a natural brain fogging trick that you manage to do. It's like a bat's echolocation.
It makes their brain ignore me, doesn't it? I'm not truly invisible. They just subconsciously ignore me, so they can't see me like how they see you knows.
Yes, as plain as the nose on your face. Just like when you are invisible, you can't see you or anyone else either. As long as a Nosferatu or those gifted with the ability to step sideways invisibly are not doing anything overt, You would never know they were there.
But the
You're
fact
heading.
but the fact that I'm noticing myself means it's broken, correct? Or can I see? Sorry, I'll let you finish. I apologize.
Can you see what?
I was gonna say, can I? If I can, this is more of an out of character sort of thing. But while I'm obfuscated, can I see myself? As in, do I look normal to myself? So I know it's active because mentally, like I've activated the discipline. But would I still be able to see myself because I am my own person? Just other people ignore me, or would I be like invisible even to my own eyes?
As invisible as the nose on your face.
So the fact that I can see myself kind of means it's not currently active, and they could be watching me.
Yeah, it's funny. As long as you're not doing anything overt, you would never be seen when it's active. Speaking of active and getting that way, Samaya, with what you've surmised, what you've noticed, and as you watch Elias and Ryan take off, a little ungainly on Ryan's part, but they take off, and they're being. What is it that you decide to engage, do, or not do in this moment? Because unfortunately for you, as a member of the Keepers, as a living embodiment of all the antithesis to life, the entire spectrum of it, living, dead, and all steps in between, you literally are ensconced in shadow. You literally are, unless someone has the ability to pierce that preternatural darkness and shadow that has welcomed you like the warming and loving embrace of a lost lover, you are, so long as you remain thus, nominally invisible. The shadows bend to hide your steps and your footfalls. The darkness wraps around you like a cloak. The essence of all that is the opposite seeks to welcome you home, and you can feel that chill across you.
So if they're going towards the carport and the car with the corpse soup is there, I was in that area and wanting to exit. And if I recall, Elias's vehicle is pretty modern since it freaked out at me.
Yeah.
I am going to find a piece of debris, something heavy enough but small enough that I can throw. And I am going to lob
In the
it
back of the head?
nope, at the vehicle to set off its alarms. It's about the only way I can create a kind of noise that basically says, get the fuck away. Because I have no other way to communicate without yelling something that will give my position away.
All right. How successful are you? Would you go ahead and roll your strength plus athletics DC?
Oh, I wish
You're trying to make sure that you remain unnoticed. So DC 4.
Oh boy. Strength plus athletics, huh?
There is a cost for doing all sorts of things. The bill, as they say, always comes due.
Indeed.
Everyone who works gets paid. What people are working for, they don't oftentimes realize until it's far too late. And yet, everyone gets paid. The bit of detritus flies through the air. Unfortunately, some people are fairly good with trajectory. Unfortunately, some people are naturally gifted in just doing that math in their head. And as Elias and Ryan gets closer to the carport, literally running headlong and making a left when they should make a right, making a right when they should make a left, getting closer towards the carport, almost as if they're being guided by invisible hands, the alarm on your vehicle from being struck with enough force to trigger the alarm begins echoing through the entirety of the warehouse. Not that it's that super large, but it is large enough where that amount of noise sounds like a klaxon on a industrial-sized military base going off, as if there is a huge tower with criminals breaking over the wall from the prison portion of the military base. You can all but feel the stormtroopers, I mean the guards, rushing towards you in their jack-booted sterling white armor. And several feet from you, as the alarm goes off, Samaya, you realize that they're closing. You're not the only one. You realize, having put together the math that you did, there's a distraction force, and there are the actual operators who clearly were on premises nearly from the time that you all arrived. It's a great way to go out. It worked for Daniel Boone.
Well, it's one of those things where I said I'd stand by the coterie, and I did what I could.
As they close on you both, almost as if they're being guided. You don't see any walkie-talkies, you don't see any mobiles on them. They're closing. Is there anything that you two would like to do, counter, react, go down swinging?
Strange question, but how many people does dementation affect at one point?
Dementation?
Dementation, like, yeah, if I put my dementia on them.
Oh, you know this. We've been there before. You know how it works. You gotta get up close and personal and have a conversation, an actual conversation about something in a calm setting. Can Lacey find that calm in the middle of a siege? Can she bend the ear of those closing on her?
I mean, stranger things have happened. She's not freaked out by this still. She recognizes she's getting surrounded, but it still hasn't hit her to the point where she's panicked about it. Why would she panic? That seems strange. Still, I mean, what's the worst that could happen right now?
Hold my beer. Kidding. Completely kidding.
Are you though?
I mean, look, we're already pretty much fucked, so let's go out with a bang, right?
Guys. I think I got this.
Okay.
If I'm going, I'm taking your ass with me, right?
And Samaya
Yes.
and Rick, realizing as you all do what's actually happening. Is it time to, flip the good old long arm, the rifle around and use its butt as a bat? Is it time to fix bayonets? Is it a time to yell into the void and attack the darkness with your fireball?
Well, if the option isn't bolting for the blue,
You can try.
it's good. But
You may have, of course, always tried. It would be a dead run. You'd be pulling I'm not sure if you're familiar with, football players of old or near old now. But effectively, you'd be pulling the Devin Hester fair catch, where you catch the ball and call fair catch, but you don't call fair catch, and you just begin walking until you get to past the first defender, at which point you take off. It's still a dead out run, but the start of it is what lures people off balance. Are you attempting the Devin Hester catch? Are you sprinting for it? Or are you gritting your teeth and leaping into the fray?
I think I'm actually gonna pretend like I didn't see what I saw and try to turn myself around a corner in a way that I can bring myself where people can't see me, so I can hopefully get my shadow cloak to re-engage. But if anybody comes near me, the dagger's going in.
Let me tell you something. All right, we got this. You got this.
Probably not, for sure.
And Rick?
From the way you described that, I'm already quite close to an exit, correct?
Closer than you were?
Like, how many people are between me and the door that currently are how many have seen me, and how many are currently near the door?
One, you wouldn't know. You didn't realize they were there to begin with. Two, much like you, as long as they weren't doing anything overt, you wouldn't be able to tell. As far as your intelligence provided, the 8 bodies that didn't belong were chasing your coterie. And, putting 1 and 1 together to get 11, you realize that it was more than 8. On that, there's a very good chance that they were either entering as you did or arriving so closely thereupon that you didn't quite get the opportunity to lock them out. Realizations you had earlier in the evening about the work that went into this place to make it viable for you opened Pandora's box.
This is definitely a kill squad as well. This isn't like a... Because if I've been noticed, my immediate reaction is Sorry, there's one last question. Now that I can actually see them up close, and they've definitely seen me, are they mortal or are they kindred?
You haven't seen them up close. You're still on the second floor. As far as you are cognizantly aware, factually provable, the 8 extra bodies are downstairs with your coterie. Yet you are not invisible to your own sight.
I'm still going with my original plan. I'm still going to try and make it outside.
And go ahead and roll your strength plus athletics as high as you possibly can. And while that is happening, Tamaya, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity plus stealth as high as you can? Lacey, using your what charm you have, and well, I'm not in the fire yet. Let's talk about this for a second. Would you believe I was this close? Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma plus persuasion as high as you can?
And quick question on my roll. I get a +2 bonus to stealth from my cloak. Is it something I can use?
When it's active. Unfortunately, it's not active right now. You're trying to get around the corner and disappear. And while that's happening, Rick. Sorry. I said Rick as I've been looking at Elias's name. Elias, Ryan, as you all take flight through the dark, hearing the noises around you and the car alarm going off, your car alarm, Elias, going absolutely insane.
Oh, thank God.
It hurts.
With your heightened senses, yes. Yes. Can you, have you been sucker punched before?
This is rough.
I'm sure he has.
You.
No, you, so you can embrace
No.
this moment. Okay, have you stubbed your toe in a dark room where the furniture literally leaped out before you? You know the table was 1.5 feet further to your right or 1.5 feet further to your left, yet your little toe reached out to tackle the table or the chair leg as it reached out to tackle you, maybe even a door jamb.
Oh, that I am an expert in.
Now imagine if that was happening over the entirety of your body, starting from the center of your skull. That's what the car alarm sounds like.
Sorry, dude.
It hurts. Why do you do this to me?
Ryan. Let's see how much it hurts, by the way, Elias. Would you be so kind to go ahead and roll your stamina plus resolve as high as you can?
Cancer.
By the way, if you get less than 4, you know you're doubling over, right?
It is stamina.
Sure, baby. Not gonna live this.
I'm surgeon.
Oh, God. I have great and terrible ideas.
I don't even care how messy this is. You said 4, right?
Yes. You have a wisdom tooth growing in absolutely 100% laterally, and somehow with it tearing through the entirety of your being, you manage to not drop. You manage to continue moving, even though every nerve ending in your dead body is on fire. Everything that you are is the definition of pain. And yet, tears welling up in your soul, you manage to keep moving. Ryan.
Don't you ever say it, I'll do nothing for you.
No.
A real protector would have put your needs first. He wouldn't have slowed down. He would have gotten to the car before whoever it is, because it's clearly some unwell-meaning carjacker inside the warehouse, and everyone's freaking out. All they have to do is just let them steal the car. He has insurance, right? There's no way that the alarm is just going off. Someone's trying to break into the car. Inside the warehouse means there's clearly a carjacker. And this is Hollywood. Carjackers are not that uncommon. And yet these big bad kindred, your fellow coterie mates, are freaking out over a carjacker. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Turning it off. This is the choice. Okay. Ryan clearly sees that Elias is suffering as he's trying to guide them. Can she? I mean, yes, she can hear the car alarm going off. She can sense that things are not going.
I'm pretty sure there are people on the ISS that can hear this fucking car alarm going off.
Just because you can hear the earthworms fart does not mean that everyone can. So they're hurrying through spaces. It's amazing here. They do not know their way out. Ryan's just gonna squeeze a little tighter on his arm. Stop. And just turn to the darkness of the room and yell, "What do you want?"
Stepping out of the darkness with all the aplomb of a crime reality documentary sensationalized TV show. Full beard, handsome jazz saxophone playing, red suited, bright bug-eyed, with skin as craggy as the side of Mount Everest, with a full head of buxomous, big, beautiful, pompadoured and pomaded hair that looks very much like the chitinous shell of some strange bug, is a gentleman who needs no introduction to you. Hello, Miss James. We were hoping to not have to do it in such a manner as this. Our forces gathered around the warehouse were gently urging you towards the carport before that racket took place, so that we might have a conversation with you. Would you be so kind as to accompany me, so that we don't have to engage in what these hired men are actually here for, to provide a physical coercion to the end of our investigation?
Wait, I'm sorry, who is this?
Good question, you're not entirely sure. You as well, I suppose, Miss DeVos. If you are in your right mind, please don't allow yourself to give over to your dark side. It would end horribly for you here. I am authorized to place you into a temporary rest if needed. We only need one of you.
Necessary.
Well, my head is still absolutely splitting, and I'm a little
Not
annoyed
yet. We can arrange
right
that
now,
if you would
but-
like.
Ryan's just gonna put a hand on his shoulder. You only need one of us.
Only
For
one?
what?
A conversation. Your armaments, sir, please. Reputation is dreadfully bothersome. I am aware that you are a former officer of the local municipalities, and you should have 2 service issues on yourself.
I have one.
Oh, underprepared, I see.
I see no reason that we can't discuss this here.
Several reasons we can't discuss this here. We need to vouchsafe our security as well as yours. But if you would like Mr. Voss to remain behind, I can arrange that.
No.
Your armament, sir, please.
I think that'd be fine if you keep it. Your men are armed as well, I presume?
Trust me, I'm not going to do anything stupid here.
You already have, haven't you?
And what would that be, sir?
Your armament, sir. If you were to be escorted along with Miss James, there you may, at her leisure, provided you are disarmed.
How many people are in this immediate
He is
vicinity?
standing in front of you by himself. He stepped out of the shadow, literally out of the shadow in front of you. As if he had been there following and watching you this entire time.
I really see no reason why we can't discuss this right here, right now, as we are.
You guys go ahead and roll your if your first reaction to any overt sign of violence, would it be to shield Ryan? Would it be to leap towards it? Or would it be to draw and fire?
I do have a quick draw specialty, so I would be moving to shield Ryan as I am aiming to fire.
So, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your... Because you're shooting from the hip, you are moving at the exact same time. So kind as go ahead and roll your dexterity plus firearm. As Elias begin to slide in front of you, between you and the gentleman who's talking to you, Ryan, what would be your first reaction to the impression of immediate violence unfolding?
Sorry, just to clarify, if I have the quick draw specialty, is that adding one or?
Yes, you may add your specialty.
Okay, thank you.
Ryan would take a step back and actually yell at Elias to stop.
Yay, distraction. -1, Elias.
Sorry.
God damn it. So much for my specialty.
While that is happening, while that is occurring, very all too close to carport, fate has lent its hand this entire evening. From the moment that you left the former Chancellor's place until now. The reason why that is of any actual consideration is, Rick, with fate working against you, there's no way you can fucking win. That's the negative talk that's happening as you take off in a sprint, and just as you kick the boxes out of the way, knock the shelf, the whole standing cabinet that's blocking off your secret egress, the ladder up to the roof, aside, because fuck it, you're caught. There's no way I'm going out without a fight or flight, as the case may be, and you put your hand on the first rung. There is a steel band masquerading as a horrid three-fingered chicken-scaled appendage. You've been held firmer, more secure a time or two. You can't remember when in this moment. That appendage, that three-fingered band of death, that appeared out of the darkness as your hand landed on the rung, letting you know that you are within grappling distance of the individual that has been following you this entire time. You being up close and personal with them. Not quite nose to nose, but it wouldn't be wrong for someone to consider that you all might be leaning in for a kiss.
Well, I was about to say, with my lack of one, it would, if we were nose to nose, I would be smooching them.
You immediately get why Ryan was turned off looking at your visage. Have you seen what a plucked chicken looks like?
Yes.
Imagine that, but the skin oozing oil. That's who's standing in front of you. A bipedal plucked chicken wearing FUBU. The full jumper. And it's not even one of the popular colors. It's not the deep navy blue with the white stripe. It's not the cardinal red. No, it is the bright nuclear orange safety vest colored FUBU jogger suit.
I don't know what that looks like, unfortunately.
So a two-piece jogging suit. Think Adidas. Think any of those.
Oh, like that. Yeah.
Yes. It's literally an insult to injury. Someone wearing something so bright and able to disappear from sight. It is the contravening ideas of blend in, you have to stand out. And he clearly does. And unlike you, he didn't even have the wherewithal to wear a balaclava, a scarf, a mask, a hazmat suit. No, he's wearing a bright safety orange, nuclear radiated, bright orange jogger. I wouldn't do that if
I'm just going to keep my hand on the railing. I'm just going to look at him. Kind of a little bit dumbfounded. It's like, I'm going to keep to my joking nature. I was going to say, I'm not going to try and move. He's caught me, so I'm just going to surrender. I'm just going to look at him. It's like, really? I'm insult. You had to do that to me, cousin. That's an insult. Why it had to be neon orange, didn't it?
I understand fashion. Yeah, you clearly you don't.
We both have different ways of blending in, cousin. And I will step off the railing and I'll put my hands up.
Any armament on you?
Nothing on me. You feel free to search me. Just my phone.
You like you touch you, wouldn't you? Come on.
We're beautiful, ain't we? Come on. It's alright. I ain't got no arms. I'll surrender peacefully. I don't know who you are, but you've outplayed me, so.
I didn't. The Primogen.
Wait, Primogen?
You
guys
don't lie.
You guys are camp. You should have just said something. You could have avoided this entire scenario.
Nah, not my decision.
Fine. I'll go willingly. Just, I'm about to say, I'm not going to try and run. I've got my hands up. I'm just going to go willingly with him. Now that I know he's Camarilla.
You say you know he's Camarilla.
Well, I don't know he's Camarilla, but I'm playing on the fact that I'm still young and I don't know. All I know is if someone mentions that, they tend to be Cam, so I'm just kind of going to roll with it.
Yes. And as you mentioned that you're beginning to have a conversation, it's funny that parity between such things. Because stepping boldly into the dark, Lacey, and willing to literally come as close as possible to the person's cutting off your egress, impugning your freedom. You literally covered a distance. So, they're a little taken aback. It's a husband and wife duo, and you can tell because they were quietly arguing. And they're one of the invisible 8 that were cutting off passive egress, making enough noise to drive you one way, which is kind of where they wanted you to go. It's beating the bushes. It's a standard tactic. No, only one that those with money and time and planning and experience and a whole bunch of other things stacked one atop the other can afford to do. Because you're literally throwing bodies at a problem. And bodies don't come cheap. At least they don't anymore. There were points in time where, a $20 holler was enough to have someone ushered off this mortal coil. Now it takes a little bit more than that. Dozen of eggs, gallon of milk. You can get someone to do nearly everything for you. So as you close on them, they're arguing about how best to go about this. What is it that you say to
It's interesting. Strange what things live in the dark. Like under your bed. Do you remember that growing up? The things that were under your bed?
What are you doing, man? Like, you're supposed to be going that way so we can get paid. Why are you making my life difficult, man? I told you we should have done this fucking job. Look here, Judith. Someone's got to provide for us. How are you providing and we're both on the fucking same job? Well, I didn't know you were going to take this job because you don't communicate. What do you mean I don't communicate? Only thing I've been doing is communicating with you. I've done nothing but fucking talk to you the whole entire time. 3 fucking decades, I'm done. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. I always mean it. There is a quote that people use, and it's just a definition of insanity. It's Einstein's definition of insanity. And it's just a definition, but it's been quantified as that is the definition of insanity. And for the first time in your existence, you are looking at living proof of that definition. Just in the matter of a few short flips of an exchange, a one-sided conversation you are having with them as you sow their insanity, as you build it up, you realize that your one side of the conversation leading them towards fear or worry or ratcheting up their phobia and their paranoia, really all you needed to do is get them to talk to each other. And literally, as you're standing there becoming invisible to them, as they engage in a conversation about their existence together, you find out all sorts of secrets. About him sleeping with her brother, about her sleeping with his mother and father and younger sister, the children they lost along the way, how they are addicted to the blood that they're getting from where they're getting it from, who they're getting it from, why they're getting it from, and the fact that they've been doing this for over 5 decades, as they are now, as cannon fodder at the disposal of Doc Reyes. You are literally the third wheel as they go back and forth, and you hear the tales and the stories of how much they invested in each other and lost faith and lost hope, and how they want nothing but the other one to die because they refuse to give up on their marriage because they gave their word. They refuse to leave each other. They refuse to be happy or find some semblance of happiness because they said, until death do they part. And they're both still alive. So they're both still married. And even though they only look in their early 20s, again, they've been at this for 5 decades. And you sowing and ratcheting up the insanity that was already at the heart of who they were causes the whisper argument to become a full voice conversation, which is as close as they come to honestly admitting anything. They are the unliving, undead embodiment of a crazy person does the exact same thing time and time again, expecting different results. In other words, Lacey cast insanity and it was super effective. What is it that you do?
I listened for a little while to get clues on things, but I recognize that this is the perfect way to leave, because why would I just stand there? So while they're arguing with each other and completely enwrapped in each other, I am very slowly going to get the fuck away.
And speaking of casting and choosing Pikachu and being super effective, the old tricks, the old habits, the old hobbies work. Pretend you belong. Most people won't question you. Walk around with a clipboard and everyone's gonna look the opposite way. Play ding dong ditch around a corner and no one will realize you. There's something eerie about being able to eavesdrop on lives. And as you round the corner and step into darkness and Maya, with your pursuer closing and immediately stepping around the corner and pulling a, huh? What? Where did she fucking go? And she pull out their cell phone and starts texting. Hey, anybody see her? Who, her? The girl I was following looks like a high schooler. You're standing literally close enough to see his phone screen as he's texting and looking around without realizing you are standing right behind him. You see several messages from a Doc Reyes, and he's purposely misspelled Doc Reyes, the dimension of Hollywood name, and had the unmitigated gall to ignore the message. As the notification comes through, he swipes it up and away and continues texting. Hey man, I want to get paid for this, but if I don't leave, are we supposed to burn the whole thing down once we get the interrogatee out? The response is, fuck yeah! Okay.
Burning down my fucking home.
Why? Control infection. Huh. Should we be wearing PPE? It's in the blood. Don't let them bleed on you. If they come, bring. If they stay, burn. Dude, I don't understand that. Ah, fuck, just find her. Dude, you ain't gotta yell. It's a text. I am not fucking yelling. And that part is in all caps. Yeah, you are. Caps means yelling. Will you stop?
Maya is gonna quietly slide sideways to make an exit, using all the noise from the car alarm and etc. to help with masking, along with her cloak.
as you are sliding away from him, and as you, Elias, I'm sorry, Rick, are heading down the stairs with your cousin, and as you, Lacey, are slipping out of a side door, a cannon explodes in the warehouse. It sounds like the condensed essence of the 4th of July as gunshots go off, as a clear and undeniable barrage ballistic warfare erupts inside your warehouse.
I'll kind of instinctively duck down. I'll still keep my hands up to show I'm still unarmed. You know, I'm not reaching for a weapon despite that. I'm looking around like, what the fuck was that?
And it's 42 after the hour. We will end right there. What the fuck was that? We'll be back in 10 minutes. I'll add an even 52. See you then.
Gotcha.
Before we dive in, everybody back?
Yeah, I am.
Yep.
Elias
Lacey?
and Ryan are present.
Yep, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I think that means we're all here and ready to suffer the consequences of our actions.
The real warrants.
Are you ready to suffer the consequences of my incident? Yeah, wow, those were words.
All right, so I'm not sure if let's handle a little bit of the mechanics before we dive in as to the story. Sure, you guys have noticed that the DC for the present scene that you all are on, or all are in, is actually DC 3, which means that you would need 4 to actually meet and beat that difficulty. Tying with that DC isn't as great as one might hope. It means that, yeah, you struck. You didn't drop. Yeah, you managed to evade detection, but not suspicion. Yeah, you are successful in your attempt, but the outcome is not in your favor. That's what that meeting the DC is. It's a tie, and tie goes to the active person quickly. But to beat that, you must exceed it by 1 for true success. So as Elias, as you fire into the center mass and up along Mr. Gentleman, your shells landing as true as you would hope. There are several things that make being dead palatable. Being shot doesn't mean you stop. Being shot sucks, but it's the same as being hit. It's the same as being punched, kicked. The same as being pushed down versus held down. And as your shells strike Mr. Gentleman, and he lunges forward, clearing the return fire from his allies in your favor, so you all are not in fact shot. It doesn't stop him from being exchanging blows. You've been hit by a car before, Elias, when you were alive and on duty. It was going, 25 miles an hour, but you were still hit. You've been cracked with a bat, a baton, you were smacked with a garbage can, you were pushed off of a second-story balcony. You've experienced the ups and downs of physical accostation, often enough where you've been able to shrug it off. Not so in this particular case. Your bullet hit, your shells strike, and instead of queering him off, provides him with an opening to plant a left cross that causes your toes to curl from the pain. Causes you the right side of your face to feel as if someone has pulled the skin back from your jaw. Causes your eyes to water in that way that usually only happens when something is broken. Nose, orbital socket, the mandibular hinge. Normally something's broken. You've been in a similar situation often enough that you can catalog the injuries that you are receiving, and none of them are good. Because underneath it all, for all of your rocky-chinned agent of the law, good old-fashioned purse stoic, antiquated ideal of a tough guy, you are still a toreador. And there's no way that the pain that you are feeling does not result in your face being marred. And there's something triggering about that, because, okay, if you get your ass kicked by, a handsome, muscle-bound woman or man, fine, at least they look the part. But this individual looks like the love child between the Crypt Keeper and the Kool-Aid Man. This individual looks like an effrontery to God's imagination. This individual makes the back of your eye sockets dirty every time you stare at him. And for something so repulsive to, 1, lay their hands on you, 2, mar your face, and 3, do it while you place slugs in them, it's an affront to your pride, your sense of self. It is unconscionable. So long story short, what do, as he is on you, like literally ugly on an 8, as he is on you, literally like white on rice, as he is on you, showing you exactly what he meant by please, your armaments. And you did tell him you weren't going to do anything stupid, didn't you? So not only is he hideous and repulsive, you managed to lie to something hideous and repulsive beneath your notice. While you have a hot second to decide what it is that you're going to do in this moment, because it literally is one action. Rick, as you crouch, you see the flare of shots near the carport, and your buddy, he doesn't even respond. It's just a single shot. It's not us. Don't be afraid.
I'm just gonna keep my hands. I'll just keep walking. And I was like, I'm afraid one of mine might have done something. One of ours might have done something stupid. Then, to be fair, you didn't exactly announce your presence.
No.
But then again, we're good at that, aren't we?
Yeah. It's a capture kill. Interrogation or assassination.
Well, I'm certainly not gonna do I'll certainly allow the capture part. I don't exactly plan on dying.
Good idea.
Yeah, sounds it. Hopefully he will. Hopefully he will have learned his lesson by the time we catch up, and we don't die for someone doing something stupid. And I will continue walking around. I will stay, far enough ahead so that he, I can't. I'm showing that. Yeah, I've given up. I'm not doing anything. I'm stepping far enough away that I can't reach around for his gun. Not even trying, not looking back at him. I'm just following along where he's pointing, where he's telling me to go.
Well, the funny thing is, and the good thing for you is, you're not looking back because there's nothing like watching a plucked bipedal chicken follow you that doesn't inspire both horror and comedic humor. It's a childish thing, but looking at something so wrong, it's almost impossible to not either scream or laugh. And while you know you got the short end of the stick, he got shorter, crustier with the cast off detritus of the living. It's very affirming how cruel humanity can be and how cruel fate can be. Looking at him the few times you actually stare at him, you see why someone like him would specialize in obfuscation.
I'm trying not to show that I'm phased as much as I would have seen other Nosferatu before, but clearly I'm kind of counting my blessings that I've just lost my nose, and that's kind of the worst of it.
And as you're pondering and considering, Samaya, Lacey, as you all make it out of the warehouse, where is it that you're attempting to go?
Good question. Have I noticed any vehicles for this rollout that arrived?
Oh no, there's most teams such as this, they have a staging area close enough to get there on foot and stand out, not let you know that they've been there for a while, just waiting for you all to arrive.
Lovely. I think I'm gonna slip across the street and see if I can find a vantage point that keeps me in shadows and unseen. And also, just in case, some actual cover, in case anybody can pierce the darkness, and see if I can watch any, like, movement or exit or any progression of this shit show. But if it looks like it's gonna go all to hell, I'm just clearing out.
Okay. The first step is to find a place safe, secure, dark enough to be easily out of sight, and maintain a visual watch on the world.
Yeah.
And Lacey?
I'm going to start looking for some friends of mine. I'm really close with the homeless community, so I'm going to reach out for some favors and see if they can maybe find where these guys are parked, cause a little chaos, distraction, that sort of thing.
All right, so resolve plus stealth, Lacey. Manipulation plus streetwise. I'm sorry, resolve plus stealth, Samaya. Manipulation plus streetwise, Lacey.
And I can use my cloak bonus for stealth this time. Right. Or not.
Yes, you can.
I have to find them first before I can add my influence towards them, right?
Yes. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Nothing like bringing mortals to a bonfire. It's absolutely perfect. Nothing like watching as things become untenable. There's a psychological effect. It's called survivor's guilt. You all, in your immediate success of drawing attention from the homeless population and watching from across the street, nice and safe, are 100% definition of such. And the reason why is, as you're struck, Elias and Ryan, watching him be struck with enough force to cause the room to vibrate from the blow, what is it that you both are doing? Three.
Hold her. Stop. Elias was out of line. He's reactionary. We're gonna come with you quietly. This is fine. This is what you came here to do, right? Just let him go.
Hearing Ryan beg for your life, how do you respond? You've been hit harder before. Can't think exactly when, but you know what you have. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here tonight, right? You have the gun. What do you do? Hearing Ryan over your shoulder. You're the only thing between what's in front of you and her. What do you do?
First off, I'm frustrated, I'm hurting, and I'm gonna start by just pushing back and yelling at him to get the fuck off of me. But I also, at the same point in time, am not reaching for my gun again. I'm stepping back, hands up, attempting to de-escalate.
You holster your sidearm to do so. Remember, you drew and fired.
I'm just dropping it, not holstering it.
That puts the weight. That puts the weight of the convincing of the moment solely on the purview of Ryan's ability to appeal to the person who was just shot. Would you be so kind with your... We're not going to give you any minuses, even as Elias did plant slugs in his person. Be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma and leadership, because he literally was shot, and that's the definition of, well, we're no longer captured.
Could I make a case for persuasion instead?
No, because you remember, as he stated, he did tell you he only needs one.
Okay.
You're bartering your ability to summon up. There's no reason to kill him. I know but please don't. Your boss for you to bring us. We're coming along. Do exactly as whoever sent you told you to do. We're captured. We're captured. We're captured. We're captured. You don't have to kill. No, I don't. I want to now. Do it. You have every opportunity to make this happen. It's no pressure, but the fate of the world rests on your die roll.
Just throw him!
Oh,
No pressure whatsoever.
I told you, built different.
Oh man.
Okay, so. There we are.
There are moments where fate lends a hand, usually by shoving you down the stairs just ahead of the explosion, where its assistance usually comes at the fact that it leaves the imprint of its soul firmly upon your backside. In this particular case, fate lends a hand and manages to not scar you in the process. Well, not scar you directly. As Elias attempts to step back, the gun clattering to the ground, just as Mr. Gentleman has you by the collarbone. You've never watched or seen anyone grab someone by the collarbone as easily as they would holding someone's shirt or the scruff of their neck. But feeling it is far worse than the emotional damage of such. Summoning up every ounce of authority. Summoning up every ounce of respectable foot forward. This is the way that we do things. Don't impugn your honor. You are a good, upstanding soldier, even if it's a temporary soldier. Ryan keeps and manages to connect. And in that moment of connection, it provides enough time for Rick and Cuckoo come traipsing down the stairs as the other members of their team begin gathering at the carport with you all. It's over. You guys are safe. You guys are being escorted out as one scoops up the gun, the other leading you all out the front door. At the exact moment, somehow, there's been a rally thrown together, and there's a series of bums, and yes, bums, outright not just homeless, but drunken, homeless, unwilling to work individuals start throwing bottles and discarded wine containers at you all as you all leave out of the building in the full presence of Nosferatu and educationally special operative. There is a moment where the world slows down as this cadre of bums mount an affirmative offense of hurled bottles and cans and racket, and unfortunately for you, Nosferatu, most directly, attention. Open and direct attention. Unmistakably direct mortal attention. And we take a half step back to the distraction that was arranged to you all create an opportunity of space. And take a step back to directly across the street, Samaya watching. And take a step back to Lacey watching from a distance as you all exit frying pan, being prepared to be plated up and served whoever is behind this, and instead being dropped directly into the fire. That survivor's guilt that we mentioned about 7.5 minutes ago comes to the fore. Does each of you all have an intelligence of 2 or higher, correct?
Yes.
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 What happens when there's no recourse to protect the masquerade, the mortals, and everyone else?
Mortals are gonna die.
Mortals are gonna die.
So, who's hungry?
Me.
I am.
Kingsbeard. Death Unleashed. Even in dire situations, the indefatigable human spirit to survive rages. It rages against going quietly into the dark night. It rages in the face of monstrosity and horror. It refuses to simply lay down and disappear. It does not resign itself to that fate until it has exhausted every opportunity and option for survival. It's not an easy thing, watching the end of anything. It's not an easy thing, Kindred, to willingly waste that vitae bent by booze and drinking and drugging and anything else that has been a detriment to their lives. Humans, mortals, kind, the herd of the populace, that's the cash crop of Kindred's immortality. So even as your hearts go out to whatever led them to be as homeless as they are, to become the bums they have only hoped to be, there's still that factual grasp that their existences are wasted because of the blood that is being wasted and spilled. And you will have the opportunity to either take part in wasting these mortals or watching as they are wasted. And as you all decide that, as you all consider that, I'd like to thank you all for a surprisingly tense, emotional end to Vivid Collusions. Hope that you've all enjoyed getting to this point. And I look forward to your answers to the questionnaire that we will be sent to each of your channels separately for you all to fill out from your vantage point so that you can decide, do we find out what happened after this night and what's the next step if we do? So, thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You.